Dreams don't work unless you do. Hello to my amazing champion community. This is your handsome, amazing, and fantastically awesome host for being champions. And I'm so excited to see you this evening. And if you're watching on YouTube in the morning or in the noon, whatever that is, because in today's episode, we have an amazing policeman. I mean, how about having a detective on the show today? Rather than motivational speakers and all that, let's try something new, guys. And with us today is Jeff joining us right from Ontario. And this man is amazing. I'll tell you why. He has been into the detective field since the last 15 years. Am I wrong, Jeff?
You are correct, my
and
friend.
and he has interviewed thousands of kids in the most vulnerable ways. This man has a mission, this man has a message, this man has something that might impact your life so much. With this, guys, he has also been speaking to high schools and colleges all around the USA. And welcome to Nepal, brother.
Oh man, thank you. I'm so super honored to be here speaking to you. We are millions and millions of miles away from each other, but just like that with technology, here we are connecting. This is fabulous. Thank you so much for this.
That's right. Indeed, we are connected. Jeff, your story is interesting. It's not like any other typical story of, of just coming up and inspiring people over there. You have been in the detective field since years. You have been, you know, you have been investigating cases like criminal cases, homicide, sexual assaults, and then interviewing children about it. Can you put a little light into your story? Like, what's your story? How did Jeff came up over here impacting thousands of lives?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you talked about, I have been involved in policing for the last 15 plus years. But on top of that, I am an author. I have two books that I've written. I am a motivational speaker, as you said as well. I've been blessed with the opportunity to speak mostly around Canada and the US as well. And now through technology, really around the world. And, it's an honor to do that because I believe all of us have a story. We all have something that we've been through in life that we can share with others. And I'm able to use my story, my situation of things I've come up with in life and problems I've had to face and how I overcame. And it's through overcoming how people learn. And so I've been so blessed to do that. And again, being able to speak to you is an honor.
Did you hear, guys? It's through overcoming that you learn. Jeff,
Absolutely.
your story is particularly interesting. You have been into the detective field and you've interviewed thousands of students, and that's why I find the X spot the amazing spot. I mean, that's what very few people get to do. Can you put a little light into that wholesome journey of yours? And if you wanted to book just, pick up just one instance that could serve as an inspiration to thousands of teens watching this in Nepal or globally.
Yeah, absolutely. Growing up, I grew up in a really tough neighborhood where there's a lot of crime within the Toronto area in Canada. And what I found is that every time police were kind of around, it always felt like they were picking on us, like they were harassing us. And when everybody kind of ran away and said, I can't stand the police, I looked at it as if I had that same power that these guys had, and I used it to help, I used it for good, then I could actually make an impact in my community. And that's what really
Right.
pushed me towards wanting to become a police officer because I want to help my community. Now, saying that as well, the same year that I was hired as a police officer in Toronto, we had a really difficult problem going on where there's a lot of people who were out there shooting. There's a gun issue. And unfortunately, that same year that I got hired as a police officer, I had a cousin who was murdered, who was killed due to gun violence. And so, because I grew up in a tough neighborhood, because I learned a lot of tough lessons in that neighborhood, there was a part of me that wanted to go out there and find the people who did this to my cousin. I was so hurt. I was so broken. I felt like, just seeing the pain in the eyes of my family was so difficult for me. So there's a side of me that wanted to go out there and seek revenge on the people who did this to my cousin, who caused me pain. And on the other side, I promised I was going to protect and serve as a police officer. And so that was a struggle that I had at that moment in my life. But it was through a conversation that I had with someone that really helped me to understand. All of us have the ability to put out energy. And I was putting out a lot of negative energy at that time, my friend. However, I was able to learn that when you put out energy, you can make it positive or negative. And so it was through taking that negative energy and spinning it around to make it a positive energy. I said to myself, rather than going out there and committing a crime, doing something bad and ending up in jail, how about I take that same energy and make an impact on this world? And that's the path that I've been on since that situation. Of course, I miss my cousin dearly, but everything I do now is in his name. I honor him by trying to go out there and help young men who might be trying to pick up the gun, who help young kids who want to drop out of school. There's a lot of kids out there right now and adults who are thinking about suicide because of the problems they're facing. And because I've been able to turn my negative energy into a positive one, I'm teaching other people how to do it as well.
Amazing. Now your story is all about, if you are not out there, maybe someone dies over there, maybe someone commits a crime. You're in a very vulnerable position, man. But here's what the thing is, we love to hear stories at being champions. If you'd like to pick up just one specific story from the past that might be really interesting or inspiring, one specific story, what would that be?
Well, so I'll kind of pick up where I just left off. So the fact that I was able to take my negative energy and turn it into something positive, I have been able to make such an impact in this world. And I say that not boastingly, it's not about that, because I understand that when you give back to others, when you serve to others, it's not about you. It's about what you can do for other people. It's about serving other people. It's about making a difference in their life. And so because I was able to take my negative energy and turn it into something positive, I had this young girl one time. I went to a school. I was speaking at this school, and she came to me and she said, "Jeff, I've been listening to everything you're talking about. I've been listening of the fact that you're saying that I need to learn to value who I am, to find my self-worth. And I decided," she said, and she stopped and she pulled up her sleeve. And I could see that she had all these self-inflicted wounds, these cuts that she made on herself. And she said, "Jeff, because of you, I decided I'm going to stop self-harming." And that was a
Man.
powerful circumstance for me. Thank you very much. It was powerful because it had me knowing that I was on the right path. And that's one of many. I had a young man come to me who was suicidal. And he told me about how he was sexually assaulted by his stepfather for many, many years. And he walked in the room and his plan was to tell the story at least to somebody, because he didn't tell anybody, and then to walk out of that room and commit suicide. And because he ran into me, I was able to sit him down and I was able to speak life into him and show him that his life was valuable. There's so much that he can do in this world. And his story, no matter how difficult it is, it's important. And he walked out of there
Wow.
standing taller. Again,
Wow.
it's not about me. It's about trying to help people to become the best version of who they can become.
The story might be difficult, but it is important. Are you hearing it? There are so many learnings
Absolutely.
coming every single sentence with that. With that, Jeff, with the critical work you're doing, helping people, let's say that there's a teen out there who has suicidal thoughts. If not suicidal, he is depressed. He's sad about what's happening in the world. He doesn't have friends around him. He's a loner, or whatever the situation is, he's not comfortable and happy with what's happening around in life, and that makes him sad or depressed or maybe suicidal in the worst case. What shall I be doing at this point of time to flip things around, as you said, to completely transform from the negative to the positive? What's the action plan?
Yeah, I love that. And if you are that person right now who's listening and you don't know your value, you don't know your worth, I need you to listen to me really closely. So you have to understand how valuable you are, how unique you are. The fact that there is 7.8 billion people living in this world right now. Actually, you know what? Let's go back even further. There's 108 billion people to have ever lived on this earth from the history of mankind. And of all the people to ever live on this earth, you are the only you. There's
Wow.
never been another you. There was no one in the history of this world who has the same fingerprints that you have. There's no one in the history world that has the same DNA as you have. That means that
Right.
everything about you is an original. Everything about you is unique. And because you are that special, there's something within you that you have to give to the world. And I know that life can get tough sometimes. I know things can get difficult because I've been through it. I've had my ups and downs, and I still go through them to this day. We all continue to do so. But when you understand that you are valuable, you are not here by accident. You are here for a reason and for a purpose. And the fact that you are here means that you can make an amazing contribution to this world. You don't have to be that big celebrity, that big singer, that big athlete. Where you are right now in your family, with your friends, with your schoolmates, with the people you work with, you can make such a valuable impact that can go on and on for generations. And you really have to understand that. And let me say this as well. You know, sometimes we look at a seed, right? You might take an apple seed or an orange seed or some type of vegetable or fruit seed. And when you look at it, it's pretty small. You know, it looks like it's insignificant. It looks like, you know, this is just a seed. It doesn't really have any value in it. But if you take that seed and you plant it in the ground, I'm talking about planting it where it's dark. Sometimes what feels like we go through situations that it feels dark. You plant it in the ground and you water it, you nurture it, you give it the food that it needs, the water that it needs. At some point in time, that apple tree is going to eventually sprout from the ground. And if you give it enough time, that tree will grow big and that tree will continue to give you more and more apples. That one little seed within it has millions of apple trees and apples to come, but you just don't see it within that seed. And that's some of you right now. You look at that seed and you feel like I'm insignificant. I don't matter. But you have to be able to be nurtured. You have to be able to be watered just like that apple seed. And eventually you're going to grow and sprout. And that apple tree that you become, you can give knowledge, you can give skills, you can give abilities for generations to come, even when you pass from here, just like that apple seed. And that's who you are right now. So if you don't see your value, if you don't see your worth, look at that apple seed. It looks insignificant. It looks like it has no value, but I promise you there are millions and millions of apples and apple trees to come out of that little seed.
That's an amazing Uncle Jeff pep talk. I mean, there
Uncle
were
Jess,
so
I
many
love
things
that.
that
I
I've
love
picked up.
that.
I've been hearing this. You and I have been hearing there's 7.8 billion people and you're unique, but I never looked at it like since the whole generation of 108, you said 108 billion
108
people.
billion,
That's
absolutely. From
right.
the
And
very
we're
first human
unique,
being.
right?
We are extremely unique. We are more unique than that rare Picasso painting. We are more
Wow.
rare and unique than the most rare gem this world has ever seen. You are more rare and more valuable than that. But the thing is, no one's going to show you your value. And if you walk around acting like a $5 bill, no one's going to treat you like a $100 bill. You have to see your own value and your own worth and show people how to treat you.
Damn. Now you mentioned about uniqueness, and this completely makes sense, Uncle Jeff. But the challenge, my teens, my students, the question is, I know you're making sense. I'm unique. I'm pumped up. But how do I find what I'm unique with? What makes me unique? I mean, what's what's that X factor? Like for Jeff Martin, it's his speaking skills. It is his investigating skills. With Vaibhav
Yeah.
Nahata, maybe it's his handsomeness. I mean his
I
interview
love that.
skills, his speaking ability around the students, his ability to make students cry, laugh. But the question is, how does that teen who's pumped up with your words right now find his uniqueness? Where does it get started?
You know, there's three questions that I ask myself every single day. And as I speak to you, I may come across as confident. I may come across as someone who has it all together. And there's times that I don't. There might be times that I do, as you do as well. But there's times that I don't. And every single day, no matter how confident or unconfident I am, I ask myself three questions. Who am I? What do I want? And what's my purpose? Who am I? What do I want? And what's my purpose? And when you can ask yourself these questions every single day, it's going to bring clarity to your life. A lot of people don't know what their purpose is. A lot of people don't know what's my unique skills, what makes me different than everybody else. When I stand in a crowd, everybody's the same. But when you ask yourself these three questions, it starts to bring clarity to who you are. I didn't always know that I was a speaker. But when I started to ask myself these questions, I started to bring some clarity to my life to understand I love working with people. I love to get up on stage and to speak. Let's put this together and see what I can do. And it's through speaking that I became an author. It's through speaking that I've been able to bless individuals all over the world by giving them the gift of me speaking and helping them through their circumstances. I didn't always know that was going to be the case. But again, who am I? What do I want? and what's my purpose? These three questions will give you the clarity that you need to understand your value and your gift. It's not going to come right away for everybody.
I'll
And even
interrupt
when
you
it comes
there.
to,
I'll interrupt
yeah,
you, Jeff. I'm really sorry for that. But when you
no,
say,
that's
who am
okay.
I? It makes sense. But the question is, it's again a very vague question. Like, am I Vaibhav? Am I my clothes? Am I, you can look at it from the spiritual viewpoint. And again, the
Yes.
second question with that is, you said, what do I want to become and what's my purpose? Now, don't they both correlate? And how do you differentiate both of these?
Well, again, when you ask yourself these questions, it's going to change perhaps every day, perhaps every year, whatever it is for you and what you're going through. But when I ask myself, what do I want? I can say I want to have a certain amount of money in the bank. I could say that, what do I want? I want to be able to speak to someone in Nepal like I am now, right? I want to be able to start that business. I want to become the CEO of the president of that company. It changes all the time. And then when you say, what's my purpose? That is when you go spiritual. That's when you go deep. You're really asking yourself, why am I here on this earth? What have I been put on this earth to do? And the truth is that you're here. I believe you're here at this time for a reason. Like, we are all experiencing the coronavirus. We're all experiencing, 2020. There was a lot of racial issues that, people were protesting all around the world. You are here now for a reason, to experience all of that for a reason. Like, you're not born in 1902. You're not born in 2028. You're born when you were born, and your age you're at now for a reason. And I don't know what that is. And, to be honest, we may never get full clarity on what that is. But when we ask ourselves, what is my purpose? You start to, again, it starts to become a little bit more clear to you. Why am I here on earth? Am I here on earth to be the best mother I can be, the best father? Am I here on earth to make a difference, to help to change laws? Am I here to create the next flying car, or whatever it might be? We all have a reason to be here. And when you ask yourself that, it starts to reveal itself over time.
Who am I? What do I want to do? And what's my purpose? Three
What's my
insightful questions.
purpose?
Sit with that, think with that, sleep with that just for a while today, guys. I mean, I'm going to do it. It's in my notes. And that's amazing, Jeff. As we go ahead in the later part of today's interview, we have fewer minutes left. This is the question out there, Jeff. I am a teen right there who wants to make a lot of impact into the world. I'm a student, I'm a teacher who wants to make a lot of impact into the world. But the
Yes.
question is, how do I get started? I mean, I have a dream, and I might not have a clear dream, but I have a dream. I know I can do it. But how
Yeah.
do I get started? What's the first step I have to take? And how do I maintain consistency after taking that first step?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, if you go back to the same three questions and you ask yourself these questions, it brings clarity. Now, once you have that answer, so for example, if you say, what do I want? I want to become a speaker. What's my purpose? I believe my purpose is to change people's lives through my voice. If that happens to be your end result, then you say to yourself, okay, I want to be a speaker who speaks all across different continents. Okay, how do I get there? What is it that I need to do? And you start to work backwards. So you see
Right.
10 years, 15 years, 5 years, whatever it is for you. I know that I want to be in Nepal, speaking in Nepal live, in the next 10 years. In 10 years from now, I want to be in Nepal speaking. How do I get there? Okay, so let's backtrack. Okay, so to get to Nepal to speak, I need to meet an amazing person, to contact to get to Nepal. Okay, perfect. So backtrack from there. How do I meet that person? Maybe I go online, social media, find people who are in that area. How do I do that? I go backwards from there. I open an account. How do I do that? Well, I want to be a speaker. Well, if I want to be good enough to go to Nepal to speak, then that means I need to work on my craft. How do I work on my craft? I start to take courses in public
Wow.
speaking. I start to listen to people who do public speaking. I really start to analyze their words and what they do, and you work backwards. So today, now you know exactly what you have to do to get to that spot 10 years from now. It's called reverse
That's right.
engineering your dreams and your goals. And when you do that, you know that tomorrow's first step won't get me to Nepal, but it's the first step in the process to get me to
Hmm.
Nepal. And that's the whole idea. If you're trying to figure out what to do first, think about where you want to go and then work backwards.
Wow. You know what? I'm in love with this concept of reverse engineering. One of my mentor who runs a
Absolutely.
really big mall here, who shared about this to me a year back, and nothing has been the same. Guys, pick up this thing. I mean, just hold it. It
Yeah.
is such a powerful tool. I mean, reverse engineering. What do you want to become 3 years from now? Where are you right now? And from the backward, try to build the track, guys. That's how it makes sense. You can't see things from the place you are always. You have to move ahead. You have to pretend to be that you're already there and try to look back. That's how it works.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah, you really have to look at it from where it is in 20 years from now, 10 years from now, and work backwards. The truth is that we are the result of our decisions. So where I
Right.
am today is based on what I did 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm speaking to crowds now because at one point in time I said, this is where I want to be. And so I got in front of a stage, my very first stage, and I was horrible. I stuttered on words, I messed up, but at the end of the day, it was one step forward. And so
Mhm.
if you are not happy with your life right now, if you hate your job, if you don't like the person you might be dating or you're with, whatever it is, where you're going to be 20 years from now is a result of the decisions you make today. So if you make the decisions today to get you to where you want to go, then it will take you there. But we have to know that we are the result of the decisions that we make.
Okay, with this, Jeff, we're in the end part of today's interview. A few quick questions, and then I have a surprise for you.
Ooh, let's go.
You love
Love it.
surprises? I mean,
Love
you must be having
surprises.
that every day in your investigations.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. That happens quite a bit.
But it won't be that scary, I guess. I don't have any blood around me, I guess.
Well, that's good. We don't want that to happen. We want you to be
Right.
good.
A quick question, I love to ask this too, um, because this gets a really exact viewpoint. Can you just take a while to, share us your three most inspiring movies and four most inspiring or, value adding books for students,
Wow.
maybe?
Okay, so let me start off with the books.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to be biased, but I do have to say that my book is my favorite book. I have to say that,
Well
and
played.
well, I have to say that because there's myself and nine other guys, so 10 of us together who wrote this book. We all wrote a
Right.
chapter. And the whole idea, to be honest, the whole idea is really if someone reads the book and they don't like my story, they might maybe relate to somebody else's story. The whole idea is to talk about how we fell down as individuals, but more importantly, how we got back up. Because we can
Right.
all see success. We all know what success looks like, but we don't know what it looks like when that person fell down, when they were going through their problems,
Hmm.
depression, money issues. How did they get out of it? And that's
Hmm.
exactly what this book is about. So I do have to say that is my number one book of all time.
So
I
Jeff
do.
has two books. So maybe the second one also going to be the list.
Well, the second one's a children's book, so I won't say that one. It is my favorite, of
Ah.
course, but I
Okay.
would have to say Think and Grow Rich, I'd have to say, by Napoleon Hill is one of my favorite books. It really breaks down a lot of details just in terms of what people have done to find their own success. And then I would have to say, it's just out of my reach here, but there's another book called No Matter What, and that's by Lisa Nichol. She is a great speaker out of the US. And that book, it just, every time I read it, like all the hair on my, well, not much hair on my head, but the hair on my body stands up because it's such a powerful book. And so those are my three favorite books, I would say.
The fourth one.
Fourth book,
Yeah.
um,
Let's go the extra mile.
Extra Mile. Let's do that. Yeah. I'm going to say, um, uh, the one by Viktor Frankl,
Search for
man,
meaning. One
man's
of
search
my
for meaning.
favorites as well.
It really just talks about how we can go through the mess, the dirt,
Oh
we can go
yeah.
through some stuff, but so long as our mind is where it needs to be, then we're going to be
Hmm.
okay. And that's
Makes
really what it
sense.
comes down to. We all have issues, we all have things we go through, but we have to keep our mind focused on what's important, whether it be family,
Right.
friends, whatever it is for you. Keep your mind focused and you'll get to where you're trying to get to.
Right. Let's get to the movies and let me make a guess. Please don't talk about the very famous and amazing. Uh, this happens. I was just having the word in my head. Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna say Forrest Gump. No, that's not definitely not. It's a good movie. It's definitely a good movie. So I watched a movie the other day, and the name slips me now, but
I
it's a
caught
story.
you off the shore.
You did, which is good. Which is good. I love that. I love that. The movie is a story about Madam C.J. Walker. Madam
Okay.
C.J. Walker was a woman in the United States many years ago who was enslaved. And the name, I can't remember the name of the movie. But yeah, if you look up Madam C.J. Walker movie, it came out about a year ago. And it's the
Uh-huh.
story of how she came up. She became the first Black millionaire in the United States. And again, she was a slave, and she came out of that and was able to create her own wealth. And it just shows you that even though you come from circumstances that are tough, you can still persevere, you can still make it through and get to the goals that you want for yourself. It was a powerful story.
Is that is that called self-made?
I know it's not a self-made movie, but I guess
No,
it's
no,
like
I'm saying the movie's name is self-made.
self-made. Yes, that's what it's
Yeah.
called. Yes, self-made Madam
Uh-huh.
C.J. Walker story. Yes, there you go.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah, yeah. One of the most powerful lines in the movie, and I don't want to misquote it, but she's sick, and someone says to her, you got to take care of yourself. And she says something along the lines of, I can't control when I die, but I can control how I'm remembered. And I was like, woo, woo, powerful. I can control how I was remembered. And we all can. Of
That's
course, we can't
right.
control when we die, but through
Yeah,
our work, through helping people, through serving, we can control how we're going to be remembered by doing all we can while we're here.
indeed. Any other
Yeah.
movies you'd like to quickly mention?
No, I think that's the most
I
powerful
caught
one
you off the
recently.
show. I caught you off the show.
You caught me. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I have to do some research on that. I'll have to get back to you.
Yeah, no, that's what happened. That's the fun part about this.
I
But
love that.
here's when we learn the human side of Jeff. Jeff is not a machine, he's a human.
So true.
So
So
as we
true.
go ahead, my dear champions, you know the surprise Jeff does not. You might be guessing what it is. So in today's episode, again, we're gonna have an amazing rapid fire round for Jeff, and it's going to be a
Woo.
little different. So they're going to be random words popping in. These could be as specific like inspiration and could be as vague as here's, right?
Okay.
And you
Okay.
just have one word to respond for it and instantly, okay?
All right. Let's go. Let's do this. I'm ready. I love
I'll
rapid
tell
rounds.
you
Let's
what,
go.
Jeff. I've been interviewing world champion of public speaking, Olympic medalists, best-selling authors, and all of this, and they are amazing. But in this part of time, something happens. You getting me?
Oh man. So I gotta
That
be
ain't
ready.
happening
I
today.
got it's not gonna happen today. Not on my watch. Let's go. Let's
Okay.
do this.
Let's get started on the count of three, two, one. Books,
This book here that I wrote. Oh, one word.
chocolates,
Mine. Chocolates. Yum.
hairs,
None.
inspired.
My shirt.
Jeff A.D. Martin,
Inspirer.
Vaibhav Nahata,
The man.
the man.
The man. I know. I
Okay,
know. It's two
camera,
words.
camera,
Action. Action.
action,
Camera.
stickers,
Sticker book.
posters,
Movies.
happiness, smile,
My family. Smile. Great.
greatness,
Achievable.
self-made,
CJ Walker.
loss of hairs.
Me.
Well, you were amazing today, Jeff. I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you.
As we come to the end part of today's episode, my dear champions, every single time I come up to you, popping in your mobile screens or television, my mission is to inspire you to becoming champion. That's what Jeff's mission is. With this, I hope you take out your wonderful learnings and maybe come out online and share to Jeff or me. You can find Jeff online in Facebook and in Instagram. And please if you come across me or Jeff, please make sure you drop a quick message about your experience, guys. We love hearing from you every single time. And thank you so much once again. Jeff, you were amazing today. This is a night time right now. It's 8:15 a.m. around there.
It is just yeah after 8:38 right now p.m.
That's right. And you pulled it out for us. Thank you so much. And it's 7:20 over here, 7:23, and it was fun being around. Thank you so much once again. Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm super honored to be here, and I appreciate you very much. Thank you, my friend.
Am I handsome?
You are extremely handsome, my friend. Extremely
Well,
handsome.
with that, I love being with all of you champions. I'm so excited to see you next week on another exciting episode of Being Champions. Until then, remember that you're a champion and don't wait a bit to unleash that out of you. Bye bye.